The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Voted Tennessee's top station for excellence in broadcasting.
Josh Moss with Affordable Heating and Cooling provides residential HVAC and duct cleaning services to the Middle Tennessee area. With more than 20 years of experience, Josh Moss and the AHC team provide 24/7 service and take care to ensure whatever work you need done is done in a professional, timely manner. Contact AHC at 615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps. But I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Want a flawless look without the wait? Step into the Vanity Zone in Smyrna, where upscale style meets everyday convenience. Specializing in precision cuts, color services, waxing, and more for men, women, and kids. All delivered by highly trained stylists with an eye for detail. And don't miss the signature hot towel refresher, the perfect finishing touch that leaves you feeling clean, relaxed, and ready for anything. Walk in or book now the Vanity Zone in Smyrna. Looking your best is always in style.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. With over 2 decades of experience, our ASC certified master technicians are experts in both foreign and domestic vehicles, ensuring accurate diagnosis and timely, cost-effective repairs. From oil changes to major engine and transmission repairs, we've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
Hey, Middle Tennessee, it's Mark from the Safe House. Can I have your attention, please? I have an important announcement. Our president has a backbone. Thank you, President Trump. We sleep better knowing our country is protected. And speaking of protection, criminals laugh when you purchase a fake safe from a big box store. There's no better time than now than to visit the Safe House and see what a real safe looks like. Rebates now through the end of July on select brands. Our brands include Liberty, Fort Knox, and Browning. Drop by one of our locations or go to NashvilleSafehouse.com. And remember, we don't just sell safes, we sell peace of mind.
AFFI is Middle Tennessee's premier choice for pest, wildlife, and moisture control. They specialize in those difficult and unique cases. You can reach them by phone at 615-300-2395. That's 615-300-2395. Or stop in at 200 Glenrose Lane in Smyrna.
My wife and I enjoy going by Yard Sale Inc. We usually go to both locations, the one in Smyrna as well as the one in Murfreesboro. A lot of times on Saturday mornings we stop by, and their inventory changes weekly, so you never know what you're going to see, and it's mostly open box. The name fits it. It's exactly that. It's a yard sale. If you don't totally agree with the price, the staff is always friendly and nice and willing to work with you.
That's the Yard Sale store in Smyrna at 111 Enon Springs Road West, in Murfreesboro at 204 South Front Street, and online at bestdealintown.com.
Hello, I'm Roger, one of the tour guides at Sam Davis Home, 1399 Sam Davis Road in Smyrna. To learn more about Sam Davis, Smyrna's boyhood hero, we offer tours Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. No reservations required. To book a wedding, creek house rental, field trip, or any other event, contact Jenny Lamb, our director, at director@samdavishome.org. Visit our Facebook page or give us a call at 615-459-2341.
Hey, I'd like to tell you guys about Crusader Auto Works in Smyrna. About 4 years ago, we bought this facility. It's about a 25,000 square foot facility that handles all your automotive needs in the Smyrna, Tennessee marketplace. Everything from collision to full auto service and classic car restorations and customs. And so I think we're one of the only locations in Middle Tennessee, anywhere of that size and that capability that can handle any car need that you have, whether it's a modern day car, sports car, or a classic car of any kind. We can take care of what you need at Crusader Auto Works.
Hey, I'm Floyd, and I'm inviting you to join me at CR. That's Celebrate Recovery. We meet at Family Worship Center, 3045 Memorial Boulevard on Sunday at 6 p.m. We're a 12-step Christ-centered program that offers help for all the hurts, habits, and hang-ups that's causing you pain. The program works if you work it, and I'm proof. For other CR groups, go to CelebrateRecovery.com and click on the group finder. Hope to see you soon.
Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Flagship station for MTSU Sports. The views and opinions on this show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of WGNS, its management, other hosts, or advertisers.
This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
All right, we're here. Conversation Mike Sparks. We wanted to play a little younger version. Connor got it going. I called that one the version you've been playing was the nursing home version, the nursing home edition.
They're like a little bit older now than they were.
Yeah, they're about in the 80s now, I think.
Wonder how old they are. I think they're in their 80s.
Probably close to it.
Yeah.
I'm 71. I was a lot younger than them back then.
You know, if I mean, you know, we used to make fun of that song and all, but back in the day, you know, it was a popular song, you know. And but you know, if you ever just listen to the words of that song,
no,
I mean, it's really a good. I mean, if you really stop and listen,
Yeah.
I mean, see, that's the problem with folks like you, Roger. You don't stop and listen. You got to stop and listen, man. That's what my wife tells me.
I'm more of the 60s or 70s music, you know?
The Doobies, Doobie Brothers. But before we get into anything, man, I got stopped by the train twice.
Today, or you
just now?
about?
Just now.
Oh, really?
Coming out of my house. How do you get? Ask me how you get stopped twice.
Well, I know. And
Ask
usually
me.
when you come to that meeting over there, well, how do you get stopped?
Well, I was coming down Bel Air,
Yeah.
and I thought, I was wondering why somebody was sitting there, like in the middle of the road, and the train would stop. And I looked, I was like, oh, the train stopped. So I just pulled in. I was like, and then a guy gets out. A guy like walks across the train. I mean, he climbs up on the ladders and stuff. I mean, seriously, the quick sack. I guess he's going to quick sack.
It wasn't Joe Walls running the tracks.
No, and man, I was like, I wanted to run up there at Crunch, try to exercise a little bit, and get up here. And I thought, well, I'll go down on Nashville Highway. So I was going down on Nashville Highway, and I was doing the speed limit, and I turned at Florence. Get up there at Florence, and all of a sudden, here comes the arms coming down to block the road. I was like, man, I mean, who gets stopped by the train twice? You ever had one of those days?
No, but it always happens when you're in a hurry. Never happens.
Well, that's why I told my wife I was on empty earlier. I mean, the light was on, and I told my wife after church that I better go fill up because I'll go to MTSU and about run out of gas.
Yeah.
But anyways, you had a great meeting the other day at Sam Davis home.
Oh yeah, man. And what'd you think about that story that I throwed out about the kid that got left behind?
Well, tell how you told it because you're kind of cruel, man. Tell how you started.
No, I was
started
talking
off.
about the tragedies that happened
smart.
there. You know, like the Blue Angel crash on Sam Davis home property. Of course, Sam was hung. And he's buried there. And then a boy got left behind from a David Geary Middle School field trip. Did you ever hear about that one, Jeremy?
Elementary.
I did hear about that.
Yes.
really sad.
Well, it's 49 years ago. I looked it up. It was May the 2nd on a Friday. And the whole school got to come. The whole 4th grade got to come except one kid. He's sitting right here.
That was me. That was me. And y'all were all laughing about it, man.
Yeah, but
no wonder.
You know that.
You know what's interesting? We're gonna. That's a nice segue into childhood trauma. Okay.
Well, that's probably why he's so big. Sam Davis home. He showed so much interest. I think that's why.
I think
get some grants and everything, you know, and the radio shows over there, and I think that's why.
Make sure you tell everybody. I got a $10,000 grant for the roof, and then we helped y'all on the front carve off the property where you could put money back just into the home. You can't go to anything else.
Right.
You know.
And also the famous chili cook-off, which is really a big success every year.
We had a great turnout. We really did.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest events actually in Smyrna.
Y'all need to add on that place.
I know.
Can't you just aren't you like the head tour guide or something?
No.
Aren't you chairman of the Historical Association?
Well, yeah, but I'm a tour guide. I'm just a tour guide.
Can't you just
Wednesday to Thursdays, and that's it. I
do think if there's any trustees listen, and you're giving me this look like, don't talk about it. Man, we were packed. And but you know, really the back of that Creek House, man, I just think if y'all took that back door out and put them like large French doors where they can fold out and go out on that patio and have a little roof on it, some little lights, I really think you could lease it.
Where the historical 80-year-old dam was.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, what was it called? The something pond.
It's viewing pond.
Viewing
pond.
So
it held for a while. That's where you almost
drowned.
Forgot about that. Sorry, I did forget about that.
Adverse childhood experiences. No, we were in a raft right there. Me and Kevin Babcock and Rod Roberts, and I was like a risk taker. I was like, "Come on, guys, let's jump it." And we got hung up in the vortex.
Mike, you know what's interesting about that is that I also had a tumble on that area too when I was younger. Me and my family, we were canoeing down that area, and we tried to go off the side. We didn't want to go over the dam. We went off the side, and we went up a tree trunk that had, fallen into the river, and off we went into the river.
Well, in my opinion, I know that got controversial about taking the dam out, but it was a safety issue.
Well,
but I always say the Lord will be there. I've seen it so much, and on our next guest, I think the Lord's going to be with this guy after what he went through back in September. But I looked up, and man, I literally thought, well, if you jump out of the raft, and because I always thought it was like 10 feet deep right there. It's probably not, but about 3 foot deep, is it? We thought it was real deep, and I looked up on the bank, and there was some real tall guy. He's like 7'4" with a long stick, and he pulled us in.
Yeah, you probably landed on a refrigerator under there or something.
Even as a kid, I remember thinking that was an angel. That was a guardian angel looking out for us.
But you know what, Mike? That story could have very well been different the other day that I told another kid another tragedy on the property. So fortunately,
about me getting left behind.
Yeah,
man.
That's good. But it could have been. This guy got left behind, drowned right there.
I'm not gonna say who the teacher was, but no, seriously, man. That I had to sit there all day long. I didn't have $5. I couldn't have got. My mother struggled. I knew she struggled.
I know, babe.
And man, what made it so bad is it wasn't like a room and you just got shut. Nobody knew he was in there. Yeah. The wall was like 14 feet wide at David Jury. Yeah. And you had to explain, hey, I don't have the $5, and man, it was all them kids coming back and laughing and having a great time, and I had to sit my butt there for 6 or 7 hours.
You was fuming, wasn't you?
Well, I wasn't mad. I was really kind of sad. I mean, because what do you do about it? But you did feel left out, and that's for sure. But here's where God had a plan. I know I've shared this 3 or 4 times on the radio. Little Emily Mitchell. If any teachers know Emily Mitchell. I was arguing with some elected officials, I think, school board members or something. And she emailed me. She said, "Hey, I know you went to David Jury School, but your name's carved in the desk." I thought it was real cute. And this little teacher, she's like 4'10", 4'11", and I went and she didn't know nothing about the story. She took me to the same exact classroom. What's the odds of that?
I know, and it really is.
And then what's cool? The same classroom. The next day, I was speaking at State Capitol on stage at the War Memorial about the 150th anniversary of Sam Davis home. Yeah. Now, my wife, she's like, I wouldn't tell that story if I were you. I'm like, I'm telling a whole DAM world about this. I just thought it was cool confirmation.
Yeah, it was. Hey, did you check for any gum you'd stuck under there?
No, I didn't carve a knife in those days. I was too young. I mean, we didn't have knives. I didn't start doing that till I was like 7th grade.
Yeah.
But shout out to Emily Mitchell. If anybody knows Emily, she's She's a sweetheart of a lady, little Spitfire.
Yeah. And Mike, I was going to, well, I got you here in here. You're nice enough to let me do this every week. Okay?
Oh, man, you're welcome.
But I want to give a shout out to my brother Kenny. He came over and jumped my car off out the other day. My car runs great, and all of a sudden it don't do anything. And I ran down to Advanced Auto, and Brandon checked it out. Let's give him a shout out. But also, just everybody pray for our buddy Jerry Graham.
Yep.
He's the one that has the red 55 Chevy at the Cruise Inn. He's in the hospital right now at St. Thomas West. And I think Christy said his valve's been replaced. He's in pretty bad shape. So they're going to dedicate the Cruise Inn to him.
I know Tony Campbell's been seeing him.
And
he went out with Marty Luppin up at the Nashville Fairgrounds at Big Car Show.
But he's probably the most laid-back guy I've ever met. You ever
man.
noticed that, how laid-back he is?
Yeah, his son, Josh is such a nice young man. Well, we got a nice photo in front of Sam Davis.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it did.
2 years, 3 years ago.
We sure did on that 55. That's a nice car. But he should be back soon.
Well, let's hope, man. I tell you, so many people going through so much. But when I leave here, I've got to be at Stewart's Creek High School. They got their commencement. Smyrna High had their commencement
No fights last night
week.
at Smyrna High?
No, man. Everybody just, shout out to Dr. Sutherland and all of them over there, man. All the kids behaved. And I think there's an SRO Weekly I'd met. A nice guy. I told him I bet he's kin to Robert Weekly, who built the old King's John's home, Weekly County. I said, man, if you go back and check your ancestry, I bet you kin to them. And he didn't know anything about it, but Mary Esther Reed, the mayor, she spoke or handed out all shook every student's hand.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if they've got me saying anything tonight, but I know I'm going to honor Mark Lewis's daughter. Man, she's had 13 years of perfect attendance.
Yes.
Never missed a day of school.
All right.
How was your attendance in school, Mike? Was it?
That wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. Anyways, I got a little speech wrote out. I won't share it, but anyway, in case they do have me saying anything.
What was her name? What was the Mark's daughter?
Sarah Elizabeth Lewis, Sarah Beth Lewis, and but shout out to Sarah if she's listening, Ernie, her classmates. But no, Smyrna, man, everybody's just so well behaved. I mean, they're excited, naturally.
Yeah.
But Raquel Peebles, I think her son
graduated.
I think he's got some kind of full ride scholarship. Councilman Jerome Dempsey was telling about it, and Anthony Johnson was with me, and Carl Boyd and Jerry Short. But but it's just exciting to see these kids, these smiling faces, and Stewart's Creek will be the same way. Dr. Clark Harrell, who's been with us 2 weeks ago.
Last week.
Last week.
But you're talking about
they put a good event together.
But you're talking about her son, Raquel, the councilman there.
Yeah.
He was at the polls, working the polls, and brought everybody a sausage biscuit.
Did he really?
Yeah. You wasn't there for that, but
no.
But he's a really nice kid.
No, I tell you, it's the future looks bright for him, and he had all kinds of awards, and there were several students from Smyrna High that had 4 years of perfect attendance, but to have 13 years of perfect attendance, when I heard 13, I thought, did she fail a grade? I had to think for a second. 13, I thought, oh, kindergarten, But I mean,
I didn't go to kindergarten. Did you go? Did they have kindergarten?
Nissan, the old farmer, it used to be Calvary Baptist.
I didn't.
Church.
And you went to kindergarten there, huh?
I went straight to first grade.
You know what Taco Bell is?
Oh
yeah.
Church. Oh, is that the one where they set that record for the biggest burrito in the state?
Lowry.
Oh,
I set that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But anyways, it just such an awesome story about Sarah Lewis.
I know, and Mark's really today he talked about that. He's really proud. And
I can see that, man, because Mark, he starts on time, he ends on time at our Bible study. And I thought about, I thought if they did have me say a few words, I thought about, inviting all the guys and the young men to the Bible study. It's next Thursday. If anybody wants to go, it is men only, 7:30 at Hope Fellowship over there on Lee Victory Parkway across from Dollar General.
And I think Mark said his son only missed 2 days in the 13 years.
Yeah, he told me what happened.
Yeah, well, probably pneumonia or something had to be because they're pretty, like
lung sucking wounds or something, something serious, something really bad. But no, that's a hard-working young man right there.
Oh yeah,
Nate Lewis.
Oh
he
yeah,
got his own company. What is he? 19, 20 years old.
I think he's 21. I think
he's rocking it.
That's cool, man.
But no, we're fixing to get in We're going to talk about some adverse childhood experiences with Avery Kelleher. Avery had you know, and I hate to be so blunt, but I don't know how else to talk about it. You know, he woke up one morning, found his daughter dead, and she committed suicide. And he's using that pain to turn around and help other students and other young people and parents. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we come back. We're going to talk about his nonprofit, We Live for Riv, and adverse childhood experiences. And folks don't know what this is, ACEs. Every teacher, every parent, every grandparent, every aunt, uncle, cousin, nephew, niece needs to know what adverse childhood experiences are. Folks, we'll be right back.
Josh Moss with Affordable Heating and Cooling provides residential HVAC and duct cleaning services to the Middle Tennessee area. With more than 20 years of experience, Josh Moss and the AHC team provide 24/7 service and take care to ensure whatever work you need done is done in a professional, timely manner. Contact AHC at 615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps. But I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Want a flawless look without the wait? Step into the Vanity Zone in Smyrna, where upscale style meets everyday convenience. Specializing in precision cuts, color services, waxing, and more for men, women, and kids. All delivered by highly trained stylists with an eye for detail. And don't miss the signature hot towel refresher, the perfect finishing touch that leaves you feeling clean, relaxed, and ready for anything. Walk in or book now. The Vanity Zone in Smyrna. Looking your best is always in style.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, from oil changes to major engine and transmission repairs, we've got the cure for your car. Let's hear from customers of Dr. Automotive.
He does a good job. He lets you know what's going on and do it at a good price.
Danny does a lot in our community, so he's very involved and invested.
I recommend family, friends. Danny is spot on because he'll suggest what I need to do, and of course, I've never had an issue.
For quality care you can trust, visit Dr. Automotive in Smyrna. We've got the cure for your car.
Hey, Middle Tennessee, it's Mark from the Safe House. Can I have your attention, please? I have an important announcement. Our president has a backbone. Thank you, President Trump. We sleep better knowing our country is protected. And speaking of protection, criminals laugh when you purchase a fake safe from a big box store. There's no better time than now than to visit the Safe House and see what a real safe looks like. Rebates now through the end of July on select brands. Our brands include Liberty, Fort Knox, and Browning. Drop by one of our locations or go to NashvilleSafehouse.com. And remember, we don't just sell safes, we sell peace of mind.
Hello, I'm Roger, one of the tour guides at Sam Davis Home, 1399 Sam Davis Road in Smyrna. To learn more about Sam Davis, Smyrna's boyhood hero, we offer tours Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. No reservations required. To book a wedding, creek house rental, field trip, or any other event, contact Jenny Lamb, our director, at director@samdavishome.org. Visit our Facebook page or give us a call at 615-459-2341. Hey folks, we're back. We're talking ACEs, adverse child experiences, with a guy I become friends with, Avery Kelleher, and Avery, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You were on. You reached out to me. I guess it was October this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a mutual
last year.
acquaintance that connected us. And,
you remember who that was?
Joanna Yoder.
That's right. Joanna was the one that contacted me. I had been talking about kind of ACEs, about childhood sexual trauma. I had some legislation on it, and she was in a documentary. Mm-hmm. It's called Joanna's Journey, and it was really pretty. She was sexually abused as a young girl in the Mennonite community. You know, wow. And it was something be honest with you, I really wasn't comfortable even talking about at the time. Right. after hearing people's stories, you start to open up and you start to, see that how many people, man, have overcame this kind of stuff, not only just women, but men as well. But Avery, you want to introduce your guest here?
Yes, I brought two special friends of mine. Dr. Brad Shapiro is here, and he is the CEO of 5-2 Ministries, which is our umbrella 501c3 organization for We Live for Riv. And one of our other acquaintances is Dr. Garrett Orr. And and Dr. Garrett is with us under 5-2, and he has a ministry called Kingdom in Kenya, where he provides homes for widows.
Yes. The I mentioned before commercial break what you went through with losing your daughter. Do you want to just give a recap of that?
I will. It's never easier.
Yep.
Right, Roger?
Right.
Yeah.
So September 11th, my wife and I had gone out. My oldest son and my youngest son had gone out. My two daughters stayed home, and my middle son was working. And we all kind of got in at different hours of the night, and every one of us kind of looked down the hallway towards River's room, and we're like, we'll see her tomorrow. She's got a kitten. We don't want to wake up the household. Let's, we'll just go to bed. We're all tired. And that next morning, my alarm went off at 5:30, and I got up. And usually when I was coming out of the room, I would hear Rivers stirring at 5:30 and doing her makeup, doing whatever. And at this time, I heard the cat, but I didn't hear any movement, and her lights were on. And then when I went to open the door, it was kind of stuck. And as I pushed into the door, her closet door had been pushing against the door, and I found her hung in her closet.
Yeah.
With all the research that we've done, with all the investigating the law has done, no indication of bullying, small town rumors.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if you're bullying, then you clearly don't know who you are, so we need to get your identity in Christ built up. But my daughter listened to the wrong voice. That night she went down a rabbit hole on TikTok. It was probably 100 depressional posts back to back to back sharing. And then there was a post on TikTok that said, "I'll be hallucinating while the rope tightens around my neck, September 12th, 000." So we're not sure what time she did it, but she did hang herself.
Yeah.
And the most devastating thing, I wouldn't wish it on the worst person on the planet. Talk about pulling all brakes on anything you think you're doing in life. My life stopped at that moment. And I had to choose whether to stop or do something with it.
Yes.
So we created Turning Pain into Purpose with We Live for Riv, where we go around and educate schools, churches, families, public rallies, concerts and events, and we educate. And thanks to Mike, we've partnered with a lot of amazing organizations locally and even afar. And we're working on these events just to bring suicide awareness to the table, because there's a stigma about it. I can't tell you that I'm having trouble with my child, because you're going to look at me different.
Yeah.
And but that child's still suffering regardless of how you're going to look at me. And I want to make sure no other child deals with this.
Yes. Well, I was listening to a sermon this morning, and the guy was talking about, I guess it was on Moody's, about pain into purpose. And I think that's what you've kind of done, is took that pain and just, going out to help and helping others. Because, people call me when they have problems. They don't call me, they get a promotion. They don't call me, you know what I mean? They don't call me when great things happen. I mean, other than, we're going to recognize Mark Lewis's daughter. That's different, but that's kind of rare,
Right.
But I had this proclamation that was supposed to have been a surprise, and it really wasn't a surprise, because you had to remind me. I get kind of forgetful. That's what Roger reminds me about things that we've got. But I've got a proclamation for you here tonight. Honor what you've been doing. It's lengthy, so I'm not going to read all of it. But I'm going to read the first. I'm going to read the first 4 paragraphs, if that's okay.
Certainly.
A resolution to honor those individual organizations that are working to address adolescent mental health, bullying, and the harmful effects of social media on Tennessee's young people. Whereas Tennessee faces an urgent health crisis with rising rates of anxiety, depression, self-harm, and suicide, particularly among adolescent girls. Whereas behind every statistic, there's a real story of pain, including the tragic loss of Riv Kelleher on September 12, 2025, just days before her 15th birthday, which inspired her family and community to establish the We Live for Riv ministry and movement to support youth facing depression, anxiety, bullying, and other challenges. And whereas alongside of the mental health advocates, many of whom are members of this General Assembly, the We Live for Riv movement has raised local and national awareness of youth suicide, bullying, social isolation, the harmful impacts of social media. And whereas research, including the information found in Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation, shows dramatic increase in adolescent mental health issues since the early 2010s, linked to widespread smartphone and social media use, engagement-driven algorithms, cyberbullying, body image pressure, reduced face-to-face interaction, and diminished unstructured play. The resolution goes on and talks about Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network, also signed by Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally and the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, and Governor Bill Lee.
Thank you
and
very
like I
much.
said, I meant to surprise you, but you had asked me about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got it with me.
Yes.
We get so much going on, but I know you've been through, hell, let's face it, you've been through hell.
Yes. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
And I was telling Roger, and I was telling, I think maybe Marty Luppin or Tony Campbell or somebody earlier, Tony's went through a tough time, so does Marty, went through a tough time. He's paralyzed the waist down, but man, you don't have to look far to your right or your left and see somebody else that's got a bigger issue that they're trying to battle themselves. I think we've got a caller. Oh, he's not on? Okay. I've got Wired Human, Jason Frost, the author, who's going to try to be here in the studio tonight, but he's speaking at a conference. But Doctor, is it Orr? Do you want to chime in on what motivated you to get involved with what you do?
Sure. Back in 2023, I got to go with my good friend Dr. Brian Myers to Kenya with Samaritan's Purse, and I met a man out in the boonies of Africa. And we were in a remote hospital called Tenwick, and he was remote from remote.
Okay.
And they just didn't have a whole lot of resources where he was at. And he gave me some story about, he was trying to rebuild his church there in his village because there wasn't any Christians there, and his wife got hit by a car. Now he's taking all his money up. And,
oh, wow.
So
is this a native to the area, or this is a missionary? Okay.
And we were at this mission hospital, and I thought, he's giving me a line. He's just trying to get some money. But I said I'd pray about it. So I went and prayed about it. And sometimes the Lord just hits you and just convicts you with things.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. Holy Spirit just slapped me upside the face with it and said, now could you afford to lose the money he's asking you for? I said, well, yeah, because what were you coming here to Africa for anyway?
Yeah.
To help people? I said, well,
exactly.
yeah, okay, fine. Fine. All right, fine. And so I gave him some money to get his wife out of the hospital, and then kept in touch with him. And lo and behold, everything he told me was true. He did have a pineapple field and a church that needed a roof, and there was hardly any Christians in this little village. So we started putting some resources to work to help them get a roof on their church, have a revival in the village.
Yep.
35 people get baptized. 10 of them stick around for a Bible study. One of those is an AIDS orphan, so we get him going to school because he couldn't go to school. Well, his grandma, who was a witch doctor, gives up witch doctoring and joins Christ because she saw how much good we were doing for him.
Yeah.
And we started using the resources that we had to help these widows and orphans in the area get roofs over their heads and resources to be able to provide for themselves. And right now we've gotten enough of the widows housed that they agreed that if we can make a group house for the orphans, that they'll volunteer and take turns to cook meals for the orphans and help them get to school.
Yes.
So that's our current project that we're working on there, deep in the wildest wilds of
Well,
Kenya.
Samaritan's Purse, they've done a lot of work out in East Tennessee with the hurricane and helping folks.
Yes,
I know my buddy Scott Butler, he'll probably be mad at me sharing his name on the radio, but he's been doing a lot of work out there, and and there's some others. Man, the devastation out there. I haven't got to see it, but I've talked to some lawmakers. Renee Jones is one of them that has that. They said the hospital was. I mean, the patients. I mean, people had to get on top of the roof at the hospital. I guess Unicoi County. How bad it was, and people lost not just their homes. The land was gone because of all the flooding, but just devastation. But I hear so many great things about Samaritan's Purse.
Fabulous work out there.
You know, is that the Baptist churches that support Samaritan's Purse, or is it a mix of churches?
You get all sorts of denominations that support Samaritan's Purse, but it is run through the Baptist.
Yes. And how'd you get involved? You're the director?
So I'm the executive director for 5-2 Ministries. Good buddies with both these guys.
Yep.
We actually started out with a ministry called King's Table, and we were serving real high-end food to less fortunate people, homeless. It was actually a vision that the Holy Spirit had given my wife, Melissa, and a good friend of ours, Danny, which he's also a part of 5-2 Ministries. But the idea was just to really, through King's Table, make them feel special, make them feel like the sons and daughters of the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. We were serving like steaks and chicken marsala and roasted vegetables.
And this is Winchester.
We've done a little bit in Winchester, but we've done a lot in Chattanooga, and then we've also done this through jail ministry. We actually recently did at the jail in Fayetteville. We served 190 inmates.
Really?
And we served rigatoni pasta and creamy red sauce and
Really?
chicken cutlets and Caesar salad. And so, I mean, it's, 190 people, 190 families, and get a chance to minister and serve them a great meal.
What was the attitude among inmates?
I mean, they were just blown away. I mean, that's, it's several notches ahead of what they normally eat. So they were definitely loving the food and just so grateful and very receptive. I mean, it's people just really open up when you serve food and really, great food. And
I had Roger get a kick out of this years ago. I haven't done it in a long time, but the inmates of the workhouse, they'd be cleaning up the lake and picking up trash and litter and all that always mattered to me. And I had just sold a piece of property and give God the glory for it. It was really like a miracle. And I thought, man, I'm gonna go bless somebody. Who can I bless? And I knew they were picking up, and I brought some pizza out there. Faith Sanders, they were picking up, and I had my wife and I guess a young lady, my son's girlfriend. And one of my family members who's law enforcement, he was like getting on to me like, you shouldn't do that, and you shouldn't do that. But those guys, man, they were so just to get some pizza. And I was like, hey, man, I said, y'all just do a good job and, get this. And I think David Gammon helped me one night. But it does, because I've never went without like that. I don't know what the experience like that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much of just the big issue that most people face is an identity issue. When we really know who we are through Christ, and to make them feel special in that kind of way, and just to let them know, we see you, and we think you're worthy of this meal, and if it's good enough for my mom or my grandmother or whatever, then it's good enough for you. And it really, just really makes them feel special. So we started out with that King's Table. And then it just really took off. And so we were thinking we need to develop a 501c3, make sure we can, take donations and all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted. And so the Holy Spirit was really showing us that it was going to be multiple ministries under the same umbrella. And so that's where 5-2 Ministries came from. 5 loaves of bread, 2 fish, multiplication.
Yes.
And so now we have 6 ministries under that same umbrella.
How were let me ask you, how are the correctional officers and the sheriff to deal with?
We ended up praying with them. I mean, it was...
They were receptive?
They were super receptive. And
they like good food too, huh?
They do. To be honest with you, the morning, I guess the Saturday before we served on a Sunday. I was kind of going into logistics mode, like we got to do this, this, and this. And I talked to a buddy of mine, and it was actually Edward that we go to church with, and he was just like, Brad, just remember it's 190 people, it's 190 families. Expect
Not
revival,
5,000.
expect the expect the roof to pop off. And I mean, I'm telling you, the guards, the inmates, everybody was very engaged. We were praying like crazy. People were really receptive. You could really tell it. You can tell when you're ministering to somebody, it's just kind of bouncing off of them versus really going into their spirits.
Y'all ought to reach out. Have y'all thought about reaching out to Jelly Roll, see if he'd come out there or Kix Brooks and sing?
No, that's a great idea.
They probably would if you reach out to him.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
TDOC Commissioner Strada was in office last year. And he had a little tough meeting with finance. I sat on finance, and it was a tough meeting. And somebody just stopped the whole meeting, and it's like, hey, we're just going to meet again, because he was getting grilled, and it's just personalities, and so he came back, and somebody texted me. He's like, "Man, what happened?" Men of Valor.
Okay.
Text me, and they're like, "Hey, man, what happened?" I said, "Well, this is why it's good to prep. It's good to talk to people. It's good to have a liaison to build relationships." And I said, apparently, because anytime TDO sees the news, it's bad. You got a death. It's Core Civic. You got a death. You have something happening. You don't get good news in those areas usually. It's rare. But I was asking about music therapy and those issues, and he's nice. I always say he's a nice guy. And he said, "Mike, we just had Kix Brooks in there." He said, we had Jelly Rolls singing. I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Well, how did people react?" He says, "Oh man," he says, it just everybody just lit up."
That's a great
idea. And the governor spoke at here about 2 months ago at Men of Valor's event. Y'all ought to kind of follow the template of Men of Valor. It's huge. They also get a. We've helped $1 million.
Okay.
But you know what? If we're helping men and women from going back in, being incarcerated, it's an investment. It's an investment, and it's proven. But the governor had spoke, and big crowd, about 2,000 people there, and he was asked, I guess, to do a pardon for Jelly Roll because he couldn't. I guess he couldn't tour with his felony conviction.
Okay.
And he said, "Well, I want to meet with him." And Jelly Roll shares with him. He says, "Man, I remember you coming into Harding. I've toured Harding Prison," and he says, he said, "I asked to get out of this certain pod, and one of the correctional officers said, 'Hey, there's this new program called Men of Valor. Won't you go into there?'" And he said he went there, and the governor, but he was just Bill Lee, Bill Lee, owner of Lee's, what is it, Lee's Heating and Cooling, Lee's something, and he said, "Man, I remember you coming in and speaking." And then the governor was like, "Well, who would have thought that, 12 years ago, you were Jelly Roll in a jail cell.
Yeah.
I'm talking to y'all, and now I'm governor issuing you this pardon today."
Wow.
So it's truly a God thing. Now, I'm sure people will say, "Well, that's just a coincidence."
No.
But I can see y'all doing that. And I'm telling you, get a hold of Jelly Roll's people. I bet he'd come in there and
that's a great idea.
He
for
likes
sure.
to eat.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, he did.
He did. Yeah.
He lost a lot of weight.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what a great example.
Yes. No, that's a great idea. You've got my wheels turning. I'm going to be.
Well, I see a lot
of
of people that are just hard natured. They're just they don't care. But a lot of folks, a lot of people I think that I'm around, I think I'm not saying they had a silver spoon in their mouth, but I think that they came from means that,
Sure.
Their parents sent them to private school, nothing against private school. They didn't walk to school. They weren't on free reduced lunch rate. They never had to probably draw unemployment. So they're a little disconnected from the realities of life. And it don't take much to go to jail today.
No. I mean, the Bible says God sees us as a treasure. He's no respecter of persons. So to really see past what people have done, and I mean, not to condone it or anything, but to remember that they're not what they've done.
Yep.
It's just, I think it's very
Oh,
important.
man, the things Roger used to do back in the day, and the Doobie Brothers and all that stuff,
Swinging
man.
from the chandeliers.
Back in the day, seriously, we could have easily went to jail.
Oh, yeah.
But today, it's just we've invented so many laws.
Yes.
And people, it amazes me how people get excited to pass new laws. I'm like, man, our liberties are just being like a boa constrictor, slowly constricting us instead of looking at the issue and solving the issue, whether it's addiction or mental health. In my office, I've got a. Well, you've came up. Did I pull out that book of lobbyists and hold it up to you?
Yes.
Okay, I pull out this book of lobbyists. It's 68 pages, 5 people per page. People will die of me. They don't like me sharing this stuff on the radio. I promise you. And I'm like, who in here is lobbying for the drug addict?
Yeah.
Who is here lobbying for those trying to find affordable housing?
Yeah.
Who's lobbying for those in prison? Who's lobbying for the fathers? Who's lobbying for mentorship? You know how many's in there? There's like 300 and something people. You know how many lobby for those issues?
How many?
Right here, 0.
Wow.
Now they're going to argue they are.
Well, who pays them, Mike?
Well,
That's interesting.
he's got corporations and others. Now, there are great people.
Yeah,
I know some of them listening right now, so y'all don't be hating on me. I'll get some text from people.
Yeah.
But now my son's ex-girlfriend, Heather Michelle, and I don't think she listens, but Heather done a weird thing, how God worked in my life. Me and her she's a big Democrat, but we got along.
Yeah.
And her and my son, broke up years ago, but now she's lobbying for those incarcerated. She's lobbying for those issues. She's lobbying also for that psychedelic drug that's supposed to help with trauma, that Obion or Obion or something.
Oh gosh, yeah,
Obigain or something.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But God has a strange way of connecting the dots, and we can't.
Yeah, He does. He does.
So where do you see your nonprofit? And we got the caller. We got the caller on here that y'all kind of partnered up with. Hey, caller, go ahead.
Hey,
Jason, you there? Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Mr. Representative Sparks. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Sorry to keep you on hold. I know you're in Chicago or somewhere, New York.
I just flew in. It was serendipitous. It's meant to be. I'm at baggage claim, just walking around. Got some time here, so it's perfect.
And so you're in Chicago Airport?
I'm at Chicago Midway. Yep. Airport.
Oh wow. Well, thanks for taking the time. Now, you get folks that may not know about your book and what's motivated you. Give a recap of your book, A Wired Human, and what motivated you, and what we're getting in about ACEs.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Representative Sparks. This is a true pleasure and honor. So my wife and I, Lisa, we both come out of education. My wife is a teacher and high school, and I worked as a social worker in the school system with kids with behavioral disorders. And this was back in 2013. That was really our awakening, I would call it, where we were seeing every middle schooler and high schooler that we were working with have a flagship smartphone in their back pocket.
Yes.
And the consequences of that were enormous, and the system wasn't prepared. I mean, this is back when they were releasing movies about Mark Zuckerberg, and he was a hero, and it was entrepreneurial and exciting to talk about social media, but the carnage left behind with these kids was massive. And I'm talking kids that were walking out of the school doors to get human trafficked from people they had met through their devices, and even kids coming to school that were so traumatized that they were ready to end their life and even had something in their backpack to take care of it. And the stories kept going on, and it got so intense that my wife and I realized the system was just not prepared, and nobody was talking about it. Teachers weren't prepared for this. So we went back to school. She started a PhD, I started a master's degree, and we just dove into this topic as hard as we could to try to understand it, just for the perspective of, like, can we save lives? Can we save this generation? And that led to a book that we wrote together called The Glass Between Us. And it was really just a survival guide to parents, to teachers, anybody working with youth, to understand the issue, who the enemy is, first of all, and realize that this space online is not neutral. It is not a place of free speech where you can go in and learn and be able to disseminate your values and your ideas. It is controlled with a vice grip from AI that determines every single bit of information that gets in front of your screen. But when you also share information, it also determines whether you're heard or not. And so what we're realizing, this is not a neutral space, and these kids are born into this world, and they're finding all kinds of content, not by searching for it, but because the algorithm is putting it in front of their faces.
Yes.
And so that became the mission. We took the book and the whole community that wrapped around us because of that book, and we founded a nonprofit called Wired Human, where we wanted to do three things. We wanted to educate youth, we wanted to equip them to handle the problem, and we wanted to empower them to have active leadership roles in their communities and even at the national level, to speak out and tell the truth of what's going on online and how can we make differences together as a community to turn the ship in a new direction.
Yeah, I was talking about, we got a little Bible study at Crusader Automotive Group, and Sundays we try to get over at 8 with Eric Ritchie. Eric's working on the TV show about the Great American, Great American Road Rally. About Route 66. I think they're starting in September.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
They'll
cool.
be on the CW channel.
Yeah, CW network. And so anyways, we're doing that. And Ron Alley was there, and I brought up the arts. And I'm the least guy qualified to talk about art. But I had asked you at that art show over there at Trellis and Vine that really Roger Thomas here kind of hooked me up with. I knew Ron, but I really wasn't involved in some of that kind of stuff. And I was asking about, Avery showing me a lot of the artwork right here. And I asked you about, you showed me a piece that you did not want to put out there But the piece that you did was up on the wall. I said, what piece of art interests you the most? Can you talk about the one that you showed me? You remember the one you showed me?
Yes, I did. We because we had small kids coming to the event, we had to censor a little bit of what we put up because some of the artwork is so traumatic.
Yeah.
It's so honest, it's so real, it's so important. But in certain settings, we want to be careful with the younger audiences. So I showed you this piece, and it was a young girl that you would never imagine had mental health problems. Just the sweetest 14-year-old girl, and she was at part of one of our art events, and we gave the assignment to produce work of art that describes your experiences on social media and how you feel. And she drew a picture of a figure holding a gun pointed at its head, ready to pull the trigger.
Wow.
And it's almost hard to even talk about.
Yeah.
But the reality is between 2017, 2019, we saw a critical inflection of that the actual mortality rates in the United States of America, this is completely unheard of, Representative Sparks, this is completely unheard of, that a first world country such as the U.S., that the mortality rates would actually start to go down, that people, according to the statistics, were dying sooner. What they found, which was tragic, was older people were living longer than they ever had before. But there were so many 12, 11, 13-year-old, especially little girls, ending their lives that it skewed the entire country's mortality rate. And I just talked to a brother last night. He shared about his brother, who, because of what he experienced online, a large chunk of it had so wrecked his mental health that he ended his life. And he told me something. He said, Jason, if you can just save one, if you can just protect one child that doesn't do that doesn't go through with ending their life because what they're experiencing online, there's thousands in the community that will not live a living hell every single day of absolute devastation. Because suicide is just absolutely, it's like a bomb going off in the community. It is so damaging, and the ripple effects are never ending. And I think a lot of listeners today, we understand that because if you've experienced it in your community, you never forget it. You never forget those names. They're always there. And fast forward, we're sitting back in 2024, I believe, at the January 31st Big Tech Judiciary Committee hearings that they subpoenaed the CEOs, including Mark Zuckerberg. And there was over 100 parents holding pictures of their kids that ended their lives.
Wow.
That ended their lives because of social media. And Mark Zuckerberg turned around and looked at all of them. I mean, this Judiciary Committee hearing is massive.
Yeah.
It is massive. It's the largest one that they have for the Senate in Washington, D.C. And all those parents piled out. He looks at them and says, I have evidence. And he holds up a piece of paper that I'll guarantee was funded by the big tech community and says, social media is not dangerous. And I thought the air got sucked out of the room, and I'm surprised those parents didn't get it in that moment. But
oh my gosh.
Jason, it just
Jason,
goes to show the monster that we're up against. But we're fighting, and we're equipping kids to recognize the enemy, but also see within themselves the potential to overcome this, and that's the hope.
Yep. The well, we want to get ahead of it, and we can. I mean, we have to. But I put together. I think I shared this with you about 6 years ago. My assistant Marvin and I put together a little mental health addiction roundtable, town hall at Parkway Baptist, and it was well attended. We had about 90, 100 people there, both school superintendents there, several elected officials, Bill Ketron, Don White, and others were there. Appreciate them being there. But I had sent Dr. Linda Gilbert, and if we've got teachers, people must know who Dr. Linda Gilbert was. She had sent me a letter. I said, what's the silver bullet? Because a lot of times we look for that one tool. What is the one thing we can do? Because sometimes you just get enamored with so many things. It's like, okay, just give me one thing I can do, one thing. And she sent me an email, and she said, and I've shared this in committee, shared on the House floor, shared in education. She said, Mike, the behaviors of the remember this has been about 6 years ago now. She said the behaviors of the 6 to 9 year olds are like something I've never seen before. She said they're disorderly, disruptive. She said, and whereas there's not many places for these kids to go, but the state is trying. And she said we need more mental health behavioral therapists. And she mentioned social workers. Okay. And sadly, she passed away about 2 weeks after she sent me that letter.
Wow.
So I've kind of thought, and she knew more about education than any lawmaker in the state of Tennessee. And if anybody wants to debate me, hey, come on up next Sunday. I'll have some airtime. Nobody can debate me because she taught educators. I mean, she had a doctorate degree. And I just thought if she was alive, she would probably want me to share that letter. But she's saying it, and I don't know is Jason still with us? Jason still with us? Oh, so but she's saying it, so it's a real ordeal. And I know there's families that are suing. I don't know if there's going to be. I don't know if you may not want to talk about anything, but I'm encouraging you.
Wow.
Avery to look into some of this.
There are some incredibly powerful nationwide law firms that I have spoken to as well.
Yes, and we need to get more families on board. Maybe that it's kind of like Craig Harris and Bill Kitt and Joe Carr and others that have kind of led on some of this substance abuse and the opioid lawsuit, and those monies are being funded back into nonprofits like Hustle Recovery, Troy Sandiford and Kim Sandiford, who are making a difference. So maybe those funds could be used over at whether it's a jail for recovery or mental health or in our school system.
Yeah.
Because it is a serious problem that seems to be growing.
Well, that's one of the reasons when you invited me out, again, thank you. I wanted these two to come out because suicide is my platform, but we all have a heart for the loss. But as you could hear through each of these gentlemen discussing, the fact of getting someone's identity based on what the Bible says, based on who we were born to be, not on who we think based on society, but who God has purposed us to be. We're in a room right now with men that are just rock solid on their walk with Jesus. And all we want is other people to see that. And I know there's people out there that, you may not believe it, may be far-fetched, you may have been hurt by church. But the fact is that with the fall of Adam in the garden, that is what we have experienced through life. They say what you don't know won't hurt you. And that's not what the scripture says. What you don't know is killing you is what the scripture says. And as these organizations, our partnership here, along with the people you've connected me with, Jason.
And you were with the Clark Flat
with Jason's foundation, and just many other organizations. There are people out there, and as we come together, the enemy is going to flee.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Because like-minded, we focus. It says if we resist the devil, he will flee. And by us sharpening each other's swords and working together and building this stuff up together, there is no choice but the enemy to flee, which is where we'll save lives through homeless women, widows, feeding incarcerated, drug addictions, and suicide, and the youth. Mental health has got to be highlighted exponentially more than it has ever been, because the rate of technology is drowning us. And we need to come together.
We had and I'm hoping I don't get in trouble saying this on the air, but we had a few years back. I don't even know if Roger was there to help me back then. There was another producer, and it wasn't Connor. Connor's a great kid. He finally graduated college. And the young man would never interact with the guest. And like my personality, if somebody doesn't say anything, I think they're being just rude or something. And now this guy's great. And there was another producer that would interact. And my mother was in a nursing home at the time, and she's since passed. And I was driving home, and me and the other producer became pretty good friends. And young guy, I guess he's about 20, and I forgot the young man's name. He's moved on. And I asked him, I said, what's different? I said, that kid that just doesn't interact or nothing, same age. And he goes, I didn't get a smartphone till I turned 18. He said, I think that kid got a smartphone when he was 15.
Wow.
And he thinks that had something to do with it.
Socially.
He was very socially awkward. And one day you're going to be looking for a job, and somebody's going to ask you questions. Why do we need to hire you? And you don't have an answer, and it does affect folks, and it could affect their entire career.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's that inversion of personality, because it turns the personality in on itself.
Yep.
And God didn't make you to be about yourself. He made you to be about Him and
Yes.
about others, to serve Him and to serve others, and
Amen.
then to take care of yourself,
Amen.
not to be all about yourself first.
Yeah, so we've got about 12 seconds. I'm going to give y'all the last word. Go ahead.
I just appreciate you having us on.
Yeah.
You know, if people are interested in learning more about 5-2 Ministries or any of the other ministries underneath it, just go to the number 5, so it's 5TWOministries.com, and you
Yes.
can learn more about the ministries. But we
Yes.
just want to help,
Yeah.
and we appreciate the support, and really do appreciate being on the show.
God
Thank
bless
you.
y'all.
I'd just like to dangle this carrot out there for all of us listening. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for youth ages 10 to 24.
Yep.
And each day in our nation, we lose about 133 individuals to suicide.
Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Roger. Folks, we'll see you next week.
Alrighty.